AI and automation have arrived, and they're going to transform society forever. From cashiers to CEOs, more jobs are getting replaced by their machines every day. The rise of new AI models is put on the accelerator, placing hundreds of millions of jobs at risk. But as the world becomes more robotic, more technology focused, what place will there be for humans? Just how many of us will lose our jobs? And if so, who will buy anything? How will the economy even work? Well, today in this video, we're going to find out what's going to happen to humanity in the new age.
A well-known and respected tech CEO, Dario Amodei, who heads a cutting-edge AI company called Anthropic, is raising alarms tonight about AI's potential impact on employment that could soon be felt. While he says AI can lead to incredible advancements like medical breakthroughs and boost the economy, he believes it could also lead to half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years. It's something that's been talked about within tech circles for a while, but rarely so starkly and so publicly. I spoke to him just before air about that and other implications he thinks AI may have on society. Dario, you've said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%. How soon might that happen?
Well, let's, well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. But just to back up a little bit, I've been building AI for over a decade. And I think maybe the most salient feature of the technology and what is driving all of this is how fast the technology is getting better. A couple of years ago, you could say that AI models were maybe as good as a smart high school student. I would say that now they're as good as a smart college student and sort of reaching past that. I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry-level human worker would do. And so it's hard to estimate, exactly what the impact would be. And there's always this question of adaptation. And these technology changes have happened before, but I think what is striking to me about this AI boom is that it's bigger and it's broader and it's moving faster than anything has before. And so compared to previous technology changes, I'm a little bit more worried about the labor impact simply because it's happening so fast that yes, people will adapt, but they may not adapt fast enough.
Hey, Shalom, giving all praise unto Abashi Masha, Abashi Muko, Akorash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and I honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And the brother everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Muko, Akorash. Giving all praise unto Abashi Masha, Abashi Muko, Akorash. Right here is going to be a relatively short video based upon this clip or article, whatever more that we can see from the screen. We're going to do this like a in-transit style video. And Yahweh Masha Raza is going to be of edification. Yeah, let me phrase it like this, man. Jake out here right now don't have no clue, right, what's coming down the pipeline. They really are detached to the realities of what Esau's getting ready to bring down the pipeline. Okay, when they told you statements like you shall own nothing and be happy with it, a lot of these Israelites that you see out here, okay, Jake in the world, for a better way of putting it, okay, so you understand exactly who I'm speaking about. Pretty much that the Jake that you see out there within the world that is not within this truth, especially within the understanding that we teach here at Great Millstone, these guys are getting ready for a rude awakening. Okay, this is gonna be a very, very rude awakening to the realities of the infrastructure the Red Hebrew Edomite it has set up. It's not is gonna set up. It's not when they set up, that they are actively pursuing and executing out there throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, to the end, many fold scriptures is going to be fulfilled, right? There shall be no work for the head of the tail. That speaks about the time of Jacob's trouble, but not only the time of Jacob's trouble, but also how Esau is getting ready to set up a whole new world and a whole new way of doing things upon the face of the planet, namely the AI. Okay, namely these computers executing right mundane tasks that otherwise a mid-level manager would do. And I find that comical because I'm in Britain. Okay, I'm in Britain. Okay, so-called Great Britain. I'm in Britain, and what you come into finding out. Now, I spoke to this at length with one of the fellow brothers out here within this truth. I spoke to him at length concerning middle management. I've spoken to him at length concerning middle management, because for the most part, if you're a regular guy just going to a job, good job or not, great job or not, Most of the time, you're just dealing with managers and mid-level managers. And I think out here within the UK is some ridiculous statistic that I think it's 1 in 3 people are managers, which is crazy when you think about just what that means in practice. 1 in 3 people are managers. So how can you have so many managers? How can you have so many people that you've got as people that's under that's over you? That's now I don't know if I phrased that correctly, so let me try to rephrase it again. How can you have it to where you got so many managers, man? That's a lot of people that one or two people. That's a lot of people that are managers. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I know how much better for me to be able to phrase it, but how many managers do you really need? But when you come in to find out that there's all of these so-called managers out here, whether it be accounts manager, whether it be a product portfolio manager, what other managers that come to mind? You know, a product strategy manager. There's so many other these so-called managers out here. But here's what Esau is getting ready to set up out here, right? Check this out. Now, a lot of these jobs that you see as mid-level managers, right? The AI could do that, okay? You see a guy that's out there, he's an account manager. What's an account manager really doing that an AI can't do? What's an account manager really doing that an AI can't do, for the most part? Now, when you come into certain industries and you see some guy that's prolific within that particular industry, really, that person tends to be prolific because they're against the curve. But that's like 1 in 10, 1 in 100, right? I ain't really seen too many people out here within my so-called career that was prolific when it comes to the management thing. A lot of these guys, they work the system. They read the HR book, okay? They read their HR handbook. They see what the guy that done them before them is. They pretty much don't rock the boat. And so what happens is you end up with a lot of decision making that's quote unquote by the book, okay? You get a lot of decision making that's mundane, right? Repeatable. You should get a lot of decision making that's statistical. And what I mean by statistical is you have a set of scenarios within, I don't know, engineering firm, okay? You got a set of scenarios within an engineering firm, all right? Let's use Mercedes-Benz, because everybody likes a Mercedes-Benz, right? So the product portfolio manager, all he has to do to create the next product is look at the market trends. Once you understand the market trends, you apply that particular knowledge into creating the next iteration of the C-Class. And this is exactly how it happens out here. And when you see these product managers out here, when they're speaking about the next product that they're going to create or the next product that they're working on, that's how it happens. That's why you can go from 1 or 2 cars having rear parking sensors to every car having rear parking sensors, because what they do is they manage the data that's coming through to them, okay? They assess the data that's coming through them, and that's how they so-called manage, right, that particular product. And when you come into finding out, a lot of these jobs, a lot of these mid-level jobs, a lot of these management jobs, right, where you see Keisha, right, the black woman, you know, being so-called prolific, you see a lot of these jobs are like that, okay? Statistical, analytical, watch the little trends that are happening, you apply the trends, and boom, you know, you got your little pay rise, 5% pay rise for the year, because you've done nothing prolific and nothing that a computer can't do. And that's really what I'm trying to say. That's really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the vast majority of these decisions that get made out here, when it comes to people having jobs and a livelihood, the vast majority of what happens out here upon the face of the planet does not need human intervention. That's the point I'm trying to get at. The vast majority of these people out here that have so-called jobs, right, it could be replaced by the AI. And one of the things that they had out there within the entertainment world was, namely movies, was the battle against AI writing the scripts, the AI creating images, which you've seen a lot of videos out here with the AI creating images and music. To the end, when you're talking about the vast majority of media being consumed, it's like, what do you need a person to create that for? It's all garbage in the first place. Nobody's really releasing a brand new intellectual property right now. People are just rinsing and repeating what they already know. Going to show you that Esau's not moving towards creativity. Esau's not moving towards a world where you're going to have people coming up with brand new ideas, really, you know, blue sky thinking, okay? I don't even know what that term means, but I think it's appropriate. So-called blue sky thinking, when you're really coming out here with a brand new thing. And that's not what's coming down the pipeline, man. They want repeatable, consumable, what's the other word I could come up with, right? Repeatable and consumable products, okay? Things that you could just rinse and repeat. That's what they want. And that's what you're seeing, the entertainment the entertainment is like an all-time low, because it's the AI robots that's creating the vast majority of this music. If it's not the AI robots that's creating it, they put it into an algorithm, right, and figure out what's going to be the most catchiest hook, what's going to be the most catchiest, right, synthesizer that they can use for that particular music. To the end, I believe even the Elder Gabar, he did a video, or he mentioned it within one of his videos, maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago, where he says the vast majority of the songs that you hear out here, it's a couple of chord progressions that they use. Yeah, the key might change, but the chord progression is the same. We go back 30 years ago, 20 years ago, man, people was doing all kind of crazy things with music. Music had what was known as musical texture. And when you're going into musical texture, it's speaking about how much musical variety that you're hearing. So you're hearing cymbals, you're hearing instrumentation, different instrumentation, guitar, violin, right? I remember when I was watching a clip from this British band called ABC, okay, and they was doing a show. And when you watch the show that they was producing, man, you had, obviously it's a pop band, okay? Obviously it's a pop band, right? ABC was like a pop band, but I remember watching the show that they did on YouTube, and I'm thinking, wait, hold on a minute. This is supposed to be a pop band, but in the background I can see the orchestra, I can see the strings, the violin, the cello, I can see all of these particular instruments. That's not something that you would ever see in the days that we're living in right now. You'd never see, I don't know, Beyonce go up on stage and you see the orchestra, right, playing behind in the background, because there's no musical texture. You see? In order to have musical texture, you have to have a conductor. In order to have a conductor, you have to have people that are thinking outside of the box. Esau ain't out here getting ready for you to be thinking outside of the box, man. He's getting ready to take your job from you. Whether you be in entertainment when you think you're so-called independent, whether you be a person that's out here, mid-level manager, right? Been working at the company for like 15 years, you got your little promotion, now you just manage the Gantt charts. Now you just manage the Gantt charts. Your Gantt chart manager, yeah? Which you coming to find out, the vast majority of the people out here, they're Gantt chart managers, man. The AI is going to take all of that, okay? The AI is going to take all of that, man. Okay, again, like I said, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's very few people out here within industry, within a professional setting, right? Especially when you're talking about the average job that a person does. Okay, it's not average job within the UK to be within manufacturing. That's not the average anymore. The norm for most people right now is to sit behind the desk and produce a document at the end of the day. Okay, whether it be a tax return document, I don't know if that's the best example. Whether it be some analytical, statistical piece of data that you have to produce at the end of the day, and at the end of the month, you're an accountant. That's a good example. You're an accountant. What other desk jobs exist out there? What comes to mind? Accountant. I don't know. Some what they call it, admin. Okay, NHS admin. You think you're gonna have a job forever and ever and ever? These jobs are going away. Okay. So let me just read a little bit of this excerpt, and once I read the excerpt, I'll close this video out. So this is a statement that's being made by one of these so-called prolific individuals within this AI realm. Okay, I don't know what his name is, but I'm assuming he's somebody that knows what he's talking about. But he says you cannot stop this from happening. The harsh reality of the AI job market, and that's going to be the title of the video, right? The harsh reality of the AI job market. I'm really convinced that anybody whose job is done right on a computer, okay, it's just a matter of time, right? Their job is done. It's just a matter of time, right? I'm really convinced that anybody who has a job and that's done behind a computer all day is just a matter of time, okay, before you lose that job. So they're letting you know what's coming down the pipeline. They're letting you know what's coming down the pipeline. Your world, as you know it, so you can understand, is coming to an end. That world where you was I'm a manager. I'm a manager. Oh, what do you do for a living? I'm a manager. Okay, that world that's a thing of the past. Okay, you ain't gonna be doing your management anymore, right? Which again, like I said, I gave you that statistics. I think it's like 1 in 3 people out there that are so-called managers out here within the UK, or in some so-called supervisionary right position. And the reason I picked that particular demographic of people out here within the UK, not only is it a large proportion of the people out here within the UK, it's the one where really you're not needed. You're not needed. Think about a quality inspector. What do you need a quality inspector for when the AI is inspecting? Product strategist. What do you need a product strategist when the AI is doing a strategy? What do you need a NHS right desk behind the desk desk clerk or whatever, NHS advisor, you don't need that anymore. I mean, how many times have you rang a company within the last year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're expecting to speak to customer services and you hear the AI? It's been a lot of times. A lot of times I'll be speaking, either I pick up the phone call, I want to make a little complaint, or I want to get something sorted out, but you're speaking to the AI, okay? Press this number, right, if you got this particular issue. Even more so than that, a long time ago, if you wanted to make a complaint, or maybe you wanted to sort something out, so energy bills are going up, right? All over the place, energy bills are going up. So what tends to happen is you might want to move energy companies. So you get new energy from in, you got to close down the old account. You go on the website, looking for the number, and then you got the chat here, right? You got the chat bot at the bottom of the screen, okay? You got the chat bot at the bottom of the screen. This is what's coming down the pipeline. That was someone's job a long time ago. That was somebody's sole job a long time ago. Now you got the bot doing it, okay? A long time ago, there was somebody that used to pick up the phone, right? They used to search the database, figure out who you are, go through the security checks, right? Once you've gone through the security check, you can make your amendments that you want to make. Even when you're talking about a bank or something like that. They used to be all, I remember growing up, I remember the first time I got a job, I was 16 years old. I remember I used to put like £20 in the bank every week. When I used to, get a little paycheck, right? I used to get a little £20, £30, whatever it may be, them times, which was a lot of money when I was younger, right? But 16, 17 years ago, I used to get that little check. And I remember this vividly. I used to walk down to the bottom of my town, basically. It was like kind of like outside of the town, right? Approaching a whole different area. But I remember going into the bank. I remember depositing cash into a bank. I remember that vividly because that was like a routine that I used to do. That's gone. That job that doesn't exist anymore, right? You got a few so-called bank jobs that people do now, right? Maybe it'd be like what you call there's a word for it. It's gonna come to mind in a second. You gotta bear with me when it comes to mind. And a guy that manages portfolios. I forget what they call that. Like you got money, right? And you get somebody, a financial advisor. Okay, that's the word I'm looking for. You might have a little financial advisor here and there. Okay, you might have a handful of individuals that actually work in the bank in a branch. But I remember, and this is something I see within the UK. If you're in the UK, look out for this, because this is an example of the AI taking over the vast majority of these jobs that people used to do. Okay, the same thing with these little computers that are the cashiers, right? But I remember this vividly. I remember that you used to be able to go to a bank, you speak to somebody if you wanted to do something, anything you wanted to do in the bank. There was somebody that was there to do it for you. Cash deposit, somebody was going to do it for you, right? If you wanted to take money out, you take it out. You go to the front of the queue. There used to be a queue on a Saturday. I remember the queue on a Saturday. I remember the queue on a Saturday going into the bank. Everybody's got to deal with money, right? Everybody's got to deposit money. Everybody's got to use money, right? But I remember when I was coming up that I used to go to the bank. I remember this girl that used to be at the bank, man. I kind of developed a relationship with her or whatever, right? Cute woman, right? Beautiful woman. I remember her. Okay, I remember seeing her every sort of once a week. I go there, drop my little 20, 30 pound. It's kind of funny now, 20, 30 pound. But I remember that was a job that people used to do. Okay, you used to work behind the desk, right? And now the AI does it for you. What do I need to go to the cashier for, man? I get paid straight into the account. Okay, the tax is already deducted. I ain't gonna worry about the tax. Okay, beyond the tax, what else do you do within the bank? Transfer. I do the transfer over my phone. What do I need somebody to transfer money for me for? I do it over the phone. So all of these so-called jobs, I'm just using that example, all of these so-called jobs are being replaced, okay? You used to be a machine within a particular cog. Now you're not that. Now you're not part of that now, okay? You don't exist anymore, okay? You used to be able to do these particular things and, be lofty and all of that and be proud, but man, that's a thing of the past, man. No more jobs. That's what's coming down the pipeline. Anyways, I rambled enough for this particular video. I hope I've used enough examples to drive the point home. What else could I have used? I could have used used to be able to stack shelves in Tesco, right? Now, really, pretty much you can use the robots to do that, okay? That's what's coming down the pipeline too. And also too, you should be able to do customer services within Tesco. You can't do that anymore. What else comes to mind? Many other jobs, man, many jobs. Okay, but what's coming now is these little corporate jobs that's going to be eradicated, because you can get the AI to do the vast majority of those functions. You don't need a person to be sitting there, right, deciding, right, what's going to be the best direction of the company, because the bot could do that. The AI bot, Alexa, right? Alexa could tell you exactly what's going to happen to your company, right, if you do particular things. All right, Alexa could do that. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna say, "Oh, praise unto you, about Shema, say about Shema, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, and I honor you brothers, every pushing this truth in sincerity." I'll see you on the next one. Shalom, shalom, shalom.